Today, I'm cracking open the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay.
That's my whole agenda.
I wanted to stay there, actually.
All right, and I haven't finished.
When you jump to John.
Right. No. Once I've cracked open Matthew,
Yes.
Luke is next. All right? And I will get to John.
Shall we stick with Matthew then?
No. I'm saying today.
Okay.
My point of coming here today
Yes.
is to crack open the Gospel of Matthew.
It depends. Okay. What type of context?
Well, you know, who's he talking to?
You can look at
What's the
immediate-
subject matter?
You have to define what you mean by context, immediate context, okay, which will be
Okay,
that
who is Jesus
chapter.
talking to? About what and why?
Okay. So where do you want me to start from?
Yeah.
Read it.
Let me
explain
Take 30 seconds to read
Let
it.
me explain the story.
One
there.
second, sir, one
Yeah.
second.
Jesus is talking
One
to
sec-
his disciple, and Jesus is telling them that just like Jonah was in the belly of fish, so I'm going to be in the.
Do I have to tell Christians they're wrong? But he's even misquoting.
No, I'm not.
Jesus.
How can I? No, I'm not misquoting.
All right, let me explain. I say, you know,
Jesus-
honestly, that's
Jesus
embarrassing.
is talking
For a
about his
Christian,
death and
saying that's
resurrection.
embarrassing. Okay.
Yeah.
The Pharisees come to Jesus and they say to him, "Give us a sign to prove who you say you are, so we know you are who you claim to be the Messiah."
Pharisees, huh?
Yeah, not the disciples, the Pharisees, the enemies of Jesus, not the friends of Jesus. All right. So Jesus calls them an adulterous nation, and he says to them, "There'll be no sign but the sign of Jonah. As Jonah was inside the belly of the fish, the great fish, for 3 days and 3 nights, so the Son of Man shall be in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights." That's the prophecy.
Okay. So
Not Jesus changed it, said in the earth. So he changed it, said the belly of the fish. So you said the belly of the fish. Jesus Christ will be in the belly of the fish.
Belly of the earth, belly of the earth. Okay, let me read it. So this is King James, isn't it?
New King James.
Oh God! Anyone got an NIV?
No, this is better.
No, not
I
really.
like this
If you wanna
translation.
look-
Yeah, of course you like this. Contains all the fabrications to support you.
Defend another time
Of course
if
you
you
like
want
this.
to. Maybe next week I
Say
can
it
defend
again.
New King James version against you.
Okay, so first Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. The men of Nineveh will rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they are repenting at the preaching of Jonah, and indeed a greater than Jonah is here. And then it speaks about Queen of Sheba. All right. So basically, the miracle that Jesus will do to prove that he is who he claims to be to the Pharisees is that he will be inside the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. Okay. Now, according to the biblical prophecies in Deuteronomy, I think it's 13, where it speaks about a prophet who will speak of something that doesn't come to pass. He is a false prophet. So, for me, the claim is this: Jesus didn't spend 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the earth. So either it's a false prophecy and he's a false prophet according to the criteria set by the Bible, or Matthew lied.
all right, let's have a read.
Can you bring out Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18 and 19, 20?
It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
We'll read that also.
It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
We'll read that verse also.
It's got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
It is talking about the false prophet. You are asking about the false prophet.
No,
and the
I don't believe Jesus was. I don't believe Jesus was a false prophet. I don't believe Jesus was a false prophet.
The false prophet is given in verse 20 here.
A word he shall speak.
That will tell who is a false prophet here. That will give the false prophet, the definition of false prophet here. Verse 20.
What does it say?
It says, but the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or who speaks in the name of other gods, that prophet shall die.
Yes.
No, Deuteronomy 30. Deuteronomy 30. I think it is.
Oh, that's what you're bringing.
No, Deuteronomy 30.
30, okay.
So
See, because basically that.
13
So the
or 30.
satanic verses,
Okay.
God have not given,
Sir, listen.
God have not given, but the Satan has given to Muhammad.
Can we get back to the
Satanic
topic?
verse.
So he
No,
was...
I'm gonna have to. Sorry, guys.
It's okay, Hamza.
I'm gonna have to stop. Did you read it?
Hamza, it's okay. Hamza, be gracious, man.
No, I don't have any agenda.
We're having a discussion.
Hamza.
We're having a discussion.
You are putting blame on Jesus that he is a false
No, I'm
prophet.
not.
You are proving that.
I'm not. I'm not doing that.
Whereas,
I'm not doing that.
Whereas
I'm saying
you
Jesus
did-
never said those words. That's what I'm saying.
Who said?
Jesus, I'm saying. Right. What I'm saying is we're having a discussion. Listen, we're having a discussion. Right? We agreed this discussion. Conditions of the discussion. Yeah. Because we're talking about the Bible. Don't mention the Quran.
Why?
Because that was
Why?
the conditions, our conditions, not your conditions. You weren't invited to this discussion. Yeah, you're so rudely interrupting the discussion, as Christians usually do when they see their Christians under pressure.
Why can't we?
But listen, because we're having.
Why can't we speak about
Because we're having a discussion here about the Bible, not the Quran. So no need to talk about the Quran. Anyway, and we're talking about the opening the Gospels. We're not talking about anything other than that. Okay? So we're staying on point. You're trying to go here, there, and everywhere.
So why are you burning? No, when I give you the
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because you're so ignorant.
you are burning now.
Right.
Burning now because I give you the.
So let's just finish this and then we can have your points off.
Carry on.
Can we do that?
Sorry
please?
for that.
Yeah?
Carry on.
Sorry. Let's go again. Okay, so what was your main claim? It was
I'm claiming
Yes.
that either that prophecy fulfilled or not. That's the first point.
okay.
believe
Well, that
what?
Jesus
Will
was.
be in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights.
Yeah, I think it was.
Really? Can you explain that?
Okay, so it depends how you understand the cultural context of the Judaic people.
How do you understand
How
that?
okay, so for them, the day normally started in the evening.
Same as the Muslims, we know.
Okay, and so if you're counting from the day, Thursday evening, the day's already started.
So what?
Thursday evening, okay, the day.
Friday. Friday evening.
Right, 1 second. Thursday evening.
Why Thursday?
Can I speak, please? Okay. Thursday evening, the day would have already started and gone on to the next day.
No.
Yes.
Thursday evening. What's Thursday evening got to do with anything?
Thursday
And so-
evening to Friday evening
Yes.
is
So
one
if I
day.
speak- So, if you're counting in that way,
When's the Sabbath?
Can I speak?
No, because you're completely wrong.
How, the
I'll tell you
problem-
why you're completely
Friday
wrong.
evening
Hamza,
to
Hamza.
I'll tell you why you're
Saturday
completely
evening
wrong.
is
Hamza,
a
if I'm
Sabbath.
going to dialogue,
All right, you explain it all.
listen,
All right.
1
Go on,
second.
and then I'll completely refute it. Go on.
Why are you
Thursday
so-
evening, carry
Why are
on.
you so aggressive? I don't understand that. Have a nice
I was nice
conversation.
until this geezer started
Yeah, but I
chirping.
mean, well, I'm not that
But he's
geezer.
not him.
I'm speaking to you, and I'm trying to explain
Continue.
something to you. Okay, thank you. So, if you're understanding the cultural context of the Judaic,
Same as the Muslims. Continue. We know the culture.
Well, I'm not saying the Muslims. We're not talking about Islam.
Same
are we?
lunar calendar, we-
Are we bringing Islam in or not?
No.
Okay, so why are you bringing it in?
No, because you
So
asked
let's
me a
not
question
talk
about do I
Islam.
understand Hebrew, Judaic
I'm saying-
timings. Yes, I do.
I said if you.
I do.
I'm not presupposing that
I
you
do,
don't.
I do.
Okay, good. So let's not bring in Islam then, like you said. Okay? So, as the day started, okay, Thursday evening, that's how the day would have started in that Judaic calendar, how they understood the day. And so it's possible for the day to run, not in the way that we would have said it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because Jesus would have resurrected on the Sunday. But so if we understand the cultural context, we can say that the day would have started the prior day, Thursday evening, and then gone on to Friday evening, and then Friday evening, Saturday evening, Sunday evening, and that would have still been 3 days. Okay? So your claim,
Yes? Okay.
yes.
Talking absolute nonsense.
Why am I talking
What's
nonsense?
Thursday evening?
Why am I talking
Oh,
nonsense?
okay. What's Thursday evening? According to Jewish tradition.
So Thursday,
What's Thursday evening? What's Thursday evening?
Thursday evening,
Is what?
in the way I'm speaking,
Yeah.
the context,
Is what?
would have been the start
Show an
of...
example.
No. Thursday evening would be Friday. All right, so it wouldn't be Thursday anymore.
He's trying to demonstrate an example of how
No,
it
but it's
works.
completely false. What's Thursday got to do? No, when was Jesus put on the cross? Preparation day. When is preparation day? Before the Sabbath. When is Sabbath? Saturday. When was Jesus put on the cross? 3 hours before the sunset. On the Friday. What's Thursday evening got to do with anything? He wasn't in the belly of the earth until when?
So,
Sunday morning.
When was he in the belly of the earth?
Sunday morning.
He came down off the cross after sunset because the earth went dark. Yeah, so we know it was Maghrib time. Now here's the easiest way to understand it and why I brought, not bringing Islam into it, but this idea of Hebrew understanding.
So what's
Imagine
What's your point?
that the day begins when? You are correct, the evening. Not the evening, Maghrib. Maghrib time is when the sun sets, okay?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. This is when the day begins for the Arabs and the Muslims, following the lunar calendar. Okay. So that's the beginning of our day. So when we fast in the month of Ramadan, and then we say that the moon was sighted at Maghrib time on the Friday, we will pray Tarawih, yeah, the prayer in the masjid, Friday night, and then we would fast Saturday, yeah, because the night has started, which starts with the Maghrib. It's in reverse. You're correct. Okay. So if Jesus was taken down on preparation day, yeah, just before sunset or just after sunset, yeah, Friday's gone now. We're on the Sabbath now, yeah. So Sabbath has begun now. So as far as we're Muslims concerned, and he was buried then, yeah. So if we were praying our Tarawih between the time Jesus was put in the earth and the time Jesus was resurrected, according to what the scriptures say, we would have prayed 2 tarawis and fasted 1 day. Right?
Sorry, just to stop you, why are you speaking? I don't really
Oh,
care
no,
about
he's
this.
bringing
You're
no,
bringing-
Islam in-
no, 1 second.
Islam
1
in
second.
the-
No, no. I'll explain why. I'll explain why. I'm giving you the timescales because look, because we pray the night prayer when the Ramadan starts. Yeah. Now I'm using the way that the Sabbath begins on a Friday. I'm using that as the day as like Ramadan starts.
Midnight.
So we know the
Midnight to
timings. Yeah,
midnight.
right. It's sunset to sunset. Okay. So when the sunset starts Saturday. So if Jesus was put in the belly of the earth after Maghrib, after sunset on the Friday, which is now the Sabbath, that's the Sabbath. Now the Sabbath lasts from the Sabbath on from the Maghrib on the Friday to the Maghrib on the Saturday. If you speak to any Jew, they will fast from sunset Friday. They will abstain from work and all that business and keep the Sabbath from sunset Friday to sunset Saturday. Once they achieve sunset Saturday, that's the day finished. Okay? So this is Jewish using your terminology. So for a Jew, the Sabbath began at sunset on the Friday, which it becomes Saturday obviously, because that's the beginning of the day, and it ended at sunset on the Saturday, which is 1 day, which is what? 2 nights, 1 day, not 3 days and 3 nights. Using this Jewish terminology. Now, why did you mention Thursday? I have no clue.
Can I speak, please?
This kind of helps. So he was trying to emphasise this. So this is what the Jewish.
I know what the
like.
Jewish thing is.
So this is what we're trying to bring it out. From
But what does Thursday have to do with anything?
He was trying to say look, for instance, it says here, Thursday starts at sundown
Jewish,
on Wednesday night,
Let's just listen.
and Thursday ends on
When
sundown.
does Friday start?
So Friday
Preparation day start?
Friday starts at sundown on Thursday.
Yes, I know that. Yeah.
And Friday ends at sundown.
Saturday, which I just said.
Sunday starts at sundown on Friday,
That's what I just said.
and the day ends at sundown.
That's what I just said.
So well, if you see here, there's 3 days.
When was Jesus put in the belly of the earth? Which day? Oh, Richard's here. How you doing, Richard? We're cracking open the Gospel of Matthew. If you care to help Josh.
Just listening.
Can you help answer this conundrum with regards?
I don't know much about this. I'm going to leave it to you.
They don't really know much about it either.
Is that really? Why?
You just Googled the answer. I've seen you.
I just
I
googled the
Googled
answer.
it, not him. I Googled it.
I just googled the
You
answer.
showed the answer.
No, we already know the answer.
It's his phone. I googled.
What are you looking at?
I've got the Bible here.
Is it?
Yes.
Where'd you get Thursday evening from?
So, firstly, if we're going to dialogue, you not be having all these ad hominems and all those sort of things. Just have. Yes, ad hominem. You know what that is.
I'm not attacking your character to make my
So,
argument stronger.
listen.
I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking your argument.
All the time, okay, we can't ever have a peaceful conversation because you're jumping in all the time and saying these sort of
You just
things.
said I did
So
ad
please,
hominem on
so
you.
listen.
Don't make
So listen.
accusations.
Listen.
Trying to emphasise.
Can we have a conversation, please,
can.
without you having an aggressive character that you're coming
Ah,
across?
Where'd you get the 3
Okay,
nights?
try it. Okay, please.
I'll try.
Thank you. So, when you were doing exegesis, why were you bringing in the Islamic understanding?
No, I was using. No. I was
One
using.
second, can I finish? Okay. So, if you're
Did
doing
you ask a question?
if you're doing exegesis of a text,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I don't know why you'll bring that text to try and understand the Judaic mindset and practice.
Oh, okay.
And so, if you can bring the evidence of what you are saying from Judaic text,
Yeah.
I will hold to
There's
it.
a Jew here. Where's the Jew? Do me a favour. Someone find that Jewish geezer with the kippah or whatever.
No.
So,
No, I'll just clarify this point.
can we? So you obviously know this, like you're saying. So
Yeah, of course
can
I
you?
know this.
Yes. So you brought the analogy of Islam. Let's leave that and just show me evidence from the Judaic text that supports what you were saying, please. You're going to Google this as well? Is that a problem?
I don't mind.
Okay. So then why are you attacking when we Google?
I'll tell you
When
what,
you Google?
I'll tell you the difference, you see.
Okay.
What I said to Richard,
Yeah.
you don't understand this 3 days, 3 nights business.
I don't.
Okay, this is
Okay.
one thing.
Good.
And I thought you were Googling it.
Okay, good.
You just asked me a specific thing about Jewish
the
timekeeping.
Muslim
that
so
you want me
please.
to show you.
So let's do it then.
I can't show you my brain, can I?
Okay. Explain it to me then if you know.
All right, well, don't do ad hominem attacks on me.
Sorry, I
then.
won't say show. Explain.
All right, well, don't do ad hominem attacks on me
Explain.
then.
Can you explain them?
Can I
Don't have to
explain
show
it?
me.
Yeah, I
Don't
can
have to show
explain it.
me.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, with evidence.
Okay.
Tell me the
All right, I'll
the
make you explain
writers,
it.
and
Okay.
so I know.
Okay. What?
The writers of the text that you're going to quote from. So please tell me that supports your hypothesis.
What, you want me to give you the writers of the text of the Jewish time they start their Sabbath?
So
Really?
So I can go back and check what you were saying.
Can't you remember what I tell you?
I can go back and check.
Ask any
what-
Jew. Go to Stamford Hill, ask any Jew. They'll tell you. Ask him.
Why should he go to
I don't
you?
know. Number one,
He's talking to
I-
you.
Number one, if we're looking at
Just give me that Jewish guy, please. Give me any Jew, any Jew.
okay, so explain.
We'll just verify this when
One
it's about.
second.
Don't worry
Explain.
about
Okay,
you.
if you want
We
to show.
know our Bible.
One second.
We know our
One second.
facts.
So we're doing exegesis of this passage. We're trying to understand the Judaic worldview that writer was
No, what
writing.
we're doing-
One second,
yeah.
let me finish. The Judaic worldview that the person was writing. So you were trying to clarify something and say that actually what I said was incorrect. So please provide the evidence of why that's
Oh,
incorrect.
okay. No, I asked the question.
No, provide the evidence.
No,
That's
I
what
asked the
want.
question. Why did you mention Thursday?
No, provide the evidence because you brought to me an analogy with Islam, but we're not talking about Islam.
No,
in this
why did I
conversation.
bring it? No.
One second.
No. There was
We're
no
not
analogy
talk-
with Islam.
Yes.
The analogy was this.
You,
It was
you
nothing
brought
to do with
Islam or not? Okay.
Arab understanding of timekeeping.
Okay, but I don't want Arabic
the same
understanding.
as the
I want,
Jews.
I want Judaic
the same.
understanding. So
no,
I don't
no,
need
it's
that.
not.
Just show me
not.
Judaic
It's not.
understanding
All right,
of
I'm gonna
worldview,
tell you.
support it.
All
Let's
right.
go.
Here's my
Islamic
claim.
understanding.
Here's my claim for the camera.
Let's go. Let's go.
Islamic
Josh can't get
understanding.
it, so we'll try.
Okay, thank you.
We don't
The
want
Jewish
Islamic
Sabbath,
understanding.
when the Jews put down their tools, where the Jewish businesses close early, so by sunset they're all at home and they don't have to do any work. All you Jews in Stamford Hill, please comment on the video just to confirm this, is Friday at sunset.
Okay.
Right. Jesus was put on the cross on
Why
Preparation
are you shouting?
Day. Because I have to make this point clear.
No, you don't need to shout.
He does.
I don't know, because it
No,
seems
just,
not going
just
in.
speak normally.
right.
Don't be rude as well. I
Jesus,
won't speak to you if you're rude. So don't be rude.
Jesus was put on the cross according to
On
your
Thursday?
scriptures on Preparation Day. Preparation Day begins at sunset on Thursday. Yeah? At sunset on Thursday is now Friday. Preparation Day. Thursday evening's got nothing to do with anything. If Jesus was put on the cross after sunset on Preparation Day, this is now the Sabbath. Friday's gone now. Now we're on Saturday, the Sabbath. Okay. If Jesus was put in the tomb after sunset on Friday, that's Saturday. One night. That's all day up until sunset on Saturday, which becomes Sunday then. Yeah? So that's one day. And then from sunset on Saturday till sunset on Sunday is another day. But Jesus, according to the Gospels, was gone before sunrise. Yeah? So you didn't even, so using my Muslim analogy, and I have to use it just to, so Muslims can understand this. Remember
you
one
don't
thing,
need
Josh.
to.
Remember one thing, Josh, yeah? What I'm doing here now is not to persuade you of anything. Right? Trust that, all right? If you do, alhamdulillah. But what I'm trying to do
What
is
is the argument
expose
then?
something. All right. Now, my Muslim brethren watching around the world, yeah, they will understand this and they'll be able to relay it when they speak to Christians making the same claim. So I'm using the Muslim analogy for that reason. Nothing to prove anything to you. Nothing to try and bring Islam to the fore. No. It's just to show you that if we Muslims began our fast, if Ramadan started at the same time as the Sabbath, yeah, which is Maghrib, because when we fast in the month of Ramadan, we wait until sunset on a particular day. And when the sun sets, we see is the new moon sighted or not. If the new moon is sighted or not, that's when Ramadan starts. That's when we do our first night of night prayer, because we do a night prayer every day of Ramadan. So that would be the first night of Ramadan. Then before sunrise the next day, we would eat, and then from sunrise until sunset, we would fast. Yeah? Because by sunset, it's another day now. So we would do one night prayer, 1 day fast,
Hold on.
one night prayer, and then we wouldn't even start the fast because it's before sunrise. Okay, which is
Hold on, please. Hold on, please.
so this is
The day you see the moon, you don't count it in Ramadan. You don't count. You count the next day.
All right.
In Ramadan, not the
we
not
pray.
the day you saw
We pray in the
moon.
mosque. We pray in the mosque the night we see the moon.
You don't count.
Are you
that
telling me
day.
what we do?
Yeah.
You're telling me
You
what
don't-
Muslims do?
You don't count that day.
Muslim.
Yeah. You don't.
Him. He's-
I
I don't know
lived
what
in
he
a
is.
Muslim all the
Apparently,
time.
he's telling you,
Yeah.
why don't you
So
join
you
in later
you
on?
don't
Let him come
count
to you.
that.
Anyway. So the principle here is this: we have
Why are you
two
lying?
nights and 1 day. The reason why I said
No,
it
no,
was,
no, no.
was,
You
was
don't count
ridiculous,
that
Thursday
Not
has
that
nothing
day.
to do with the equation.
But
Thursday's
you-
already
you
gone.
don't
If
count
preparation
that
day
day.
started,
Next day.
Thursday's finished. Got nothing to do with anything. And if he's buried after the sunset on the Sabbath, on the day before on Preparation Day, that's the Sabbath now. Yeah, which is Friday's gone now. So, and remember what the prophecy is: not dead 3 days, 3 nights, inside the earth. So it's when he's put in the tomb is when the timing begins. Yeah. So sorry, I'm shouting again. So we know that if he went in the tomb, 2 nights, 1 day, using Jewish chronology. If you want to do it the other way, we'll do it English way. Yeah. Friday night, Saturday. Saturday night, 2 nights, 1 day. Doesn't change. Okay. So Jesus made a prophecy to the Pharisees, and he said this is the only sign he's going to give them, that he'll be inside the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. And he wasn't. So either it's a false prophecy, and according to the Bible, he's a false prophet because his prophecy didn't come true, or Matthew lied.
So sorry, thanks for your point. I think it was a strong point. But where it says about the day of preparation, can we look at that verse?
Yes.
Understand it?
Do you know what the day of preparation is?
What, preparation for the Sabbath?
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we look at that verse? Where it says it?
Hamza, there's a Jew behind.
Who?
Yeah, Triffid here.
What's up?
Who is this channel anyway?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, not those boys.
No, that was on.
How would you do it? No, I'm asking. You're claiming to believe in a book. I'm saying.
2 nights and 1 day, isn't it, Hamza?
That's it. No matter which way you want to twist it,
3
it
days,
doesn't
3
change.
nights, doesn't add
English way, lunar calendar way, doesn't change a thing. Even if you want to say part of a day equals a day.
While they are looking for, can I ask you a question here?
If Christian go
Can
to
I ask you a
theological
question?
court, a theological court, the judge will throw it because it's contradictory.
Can I ask you a question, please?
No.
He's running away.
Yes.
He is running.
I'm running for the hills, mate.
Running, I'm holding it.
I don't debate the mad. I don't debate the mad.
Why?
I don't debate the mad.
Why are you scared? Let me ask a question. You are asking a 100 and millionth question to a gentleman.
Ask him one
and
question.
I'm asking just one question.
No. Because it'll be a stupid question.
No?
It will be. It will be. It'll be something of answering Islam.
So Surah 33
There we
verse
go.
37 is a stupid question.
I would say so. If you're asking about it, probably yes.
Okay. So your Quran, I'm asking about your Quran. So that's a stupid.
If you're asking the question, yeah, most definitely. Ignore him.
So Surah 33 and verse 37 is a stupid verse he is saying.
Probably if you
He
know.
is saying.
Let's not be
He's saying.
abusive. Let's not be abusive.
I did say the Christians can't do this without mentioning the Quran. I did say this at the beginning.
To be fair, he has.
Yeah, but not me.
I know you have.
Muslims don't have answer for this question
I just think Muslims don't answer you.
because you don't have answer.
Might be say this. Come back next week with have a look at it over the week, man.
I'm just trying to understand the
Yeah,
preparation.
no, I understand preparation day.
And even when
Preparation day's Friday. Started on Thursday evening. I don't see the point in it. I don't see the relevance, but fish for it.
But Friday start from Thursday midnight. Thursday.
I'm unfamiliar with the argument, so I need to go
Thursday
and
midnight
come back next
onward.
week.
It's a heavy argument.
Yeah.
It's a
I'll
heavy
come back
argument.
next
yeah.
week.
Planet you are
And this is just the.
Planet of the Apes or what?
This is just the sauce you get with the burger, with the steak.
So
Because this is just the first
yeah, I understand
challenge.
what you're saying, yeah.
There's 3 more.
Yeah, okay.
Or 2 more. 2 more.
Well, with that one, I'll come back next week with you and talk with you. So
And you have to come back.
Yeah.
I'm not back here next week.
week
But
after, I'll be there as well. So I know.
I don't know when I'm back. I come once a month, but this is a madhouse for me. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
I've seen you on YouTube.
Yeah, but I'm only here once a month.
Really?
But we do about 4 videos in the day, and then,
then
we
we
spread them out. Because what it is, we don't like to just splurge the videos out for the views. We like to put a video out there. We like the comment section. We like back and forth, learn something. Like I always say, I win or I learn in the park. So someone might put a comment in the comment section that says, actually, Hamza, you're wrong about this, that, the other. And I'll look into it. Was I wrong about it? And if I was wrong about it, you'll never hear me repeat it.
Yeah.
Standard.
Good man.
yeah. So I was just understanding the preparation and
It's got nothing to do with anything.
No, I'm saying you're correct. In what
Oh,
you're
thank
saying.
you, thank you,
Okay,
thank
so
you,
that's no
thank
problem. So are you saying, just to understand your argument, the counting of it, was it 2 days that he was in the ground and...
No.
Okay, so
I'm
how
saying,
many...
according to, if you want to use Jewish terminology,
yes.
no, it was 1 day in the ground, 2 evenings, 2 nights.
So 1 day in the ground. So,
2 nights.
Okay, so Friday, so like I was saying, if the day started on Thursday, okay, and then Thursday sundown, sorry, sunrise...
No, Thursday's irrelevant. Again, it's irrelevant.
Can I speak?
Well, stop bringing this Irrelevant Thursday into it. It's got nothing to do with it.
Can I speak as possible? Yes? So, if the day started, okay, so we go from Thursday to Friday, Friday to Saturday, Saturday to Sunday.
Yes.
Okay, so day one,
Is when?
okay, when would that have started?
Saturday.
Day one would have started on Saturday?
Yeah.
Why, sorry?
Because night one was Friday night. Saturday night.
Sorry?
Because night one, look, you wanted to use the Jewish
Yeah,
terminology.
just so I understand,
All right.
yes, yeah.
A day in Jewish terminology and Arab terminology
Yes.
is this. It starts at sunset. So the night precedes the day. Not the day precedes the night. So when the day starts, for the Jews, it's night time. Yeah? And then the day comes, and when the day ends, a night begins, that starts the beginning of the next day. Okay. So if you're put in the ground on Sabbath, the beginning of the Sabbath, that's night time according to Jewish terminology. So that's one night. Then night then becomes day, sun rises. So from sunrise then till sunset, that's the day. When the sun sets, it starts the new day, but it's night time. Do you understand? So that's the Jewish way. If you do it the other way, the English way, he was put in the ground Friday night. He was in the tomb Saturday and Saturday night, and Sunday he was gone. Okay, which is the same. You want to do it that way, you want to do it that way. It still only works out at 2 nights, 1 day.
But then if he was putting, if he was putting on Friday, okay.
It's not Friday anymore, it's Saturday because...
So was he put on the day of Sabbath? He was put on the Sabbath
yeah,
day?
because basically you can't crucify someone on the Sabbath.
Yes.
So he was, remember, he was only on the cross for like 1 hour according to the Gospel of John, 3 hours according to the Gospel of Mark and whatever.
So this was demonstrated.
And the earth went dark, so we know it was, he had to come down before it was time. So by the time they're taking him down, this, that, the other, taking him to the tomb, it's 100% Sabbath.
I mean, can we establish that? Or was he...
Sundown to sundown.
Do you have evidence to establish that it was the Sabbath?
We can only use a probability that we know that they wanted to crucify him. We know it was the Jews who wanted to crucify him, and they knew that they couldn't crucify anyone on the Sabbath, which would mean they would have to get it done before the Sabbath started. Therefore, they would have left him up as long as possible before they could take him down. Now, if that was me or you, we'd think, you know what, technically Sabbath's going to start in half an hour. Let's start bringing him down.
So it starts at sundown.
And by the time you're taking him down, this or that, taking him wherever you're going to take him, arrange who's going to take him, get to where you're going to take him, rolling the stone back and all that business, putting the stone back, I'm pretty sure that time would have elapsed.
Okay,
This is a probability.
Okay, but then if we are saying it's quite probable, it then would clash with, let's say, Joseph of Arimathea burying Jesus. Because why would he bury him and work on the Sabbath? Because he'll be burying him on the Sabbath.
2, 3.
Yes.
Yes, so that couldn't be that. So it must be then prior to the Sabbath that he buried him. So then that will be Friday, that he was buried, Saturday.
Who says Joseph of Arimathea buried him?
Okay, we can go to that point and we need to establish that. But until
No,
we...
let's establish that.
No. 1 second.
Which gospel, right?
Okay, but I'll say my point whilst you're looking. So Joseph of Arimathea, okay, was a Jew, and he wouldn't have worked on the Sabbath by
That's in the
burying.
Bible a second, Manus.
He wouldn't have worked on the Sabbath by burying him on a Saturday. So he would have done it prior to the
Could they bury
Sabbath.
somebody on the
One
Sabbath?
second.
I don't know about that. I've not checked that. Can they bury someone on the Sabbath?
Okay, but 1 second. Okay, so let's say he.
What he's saying. So I have to go back and
Let's
look.
mess him up with the NIV.
What day did he die?
No, but NIV's not that accurate, if I'm honest. You want to go to ESV? I've got ESV here.
What?
ESV's the
When
same.
you say this,
It's a lot more accurate. This is more a paraphrase
starts
version.
from-
Do you want more accurate with the quiz?
I think it's more the same.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
Go on, carry on.
Okay, so
All right, so you're saying the probability is... You're
no,
saying...
so 1 second.
right,
So
can they
I just
bury
say-
someone on the Sabbath?
So
I
I say
don't know.
I say my claim. Okay. So he was buried. So as it seems, Joseph of Arimathea was a Jew who buried him, and if we assume that Jews cannot work at all on the Sabbath, okay, that would have been a work by burying someone in a tomb. So that means that he would have buried him prior to the Sabbath starting, and that would be Friday. Okay. No. It wouldn't be, sorry.
If he was crucified Friday, then it should be Friday. He should be buried before the sunset.
So he's
So
burying.
it should be as soon as sunset is Sabbath start. That's
No.
what I'm saying.
Well, I understand his claim. He's saying if the Jews can't bury someone on the Sabbath, that means he needs to be taken down before the Sabbath begins.
Yes.
and put in the tomb before the Sabbath begins.
That is the Friday,
So then that would be
Friday
Friday.
night sunset.
So no. So what he's basically, I understand his claim. I don't know whether the answer is can a Jew bury someone on the Sabbath? I need a Jew to answer that question.
Even
You don't think so?
commonly, if we say,
No, one second.
I'll see you on in 3 days time.
Okay.
Sabbath start.
You
as to the
start
sunset.
from the day you are saying.
We know when the Sabbath begins. The question is this: it's like he said, can you take a body to a tomb on the Sabbath?
Because you can't work again.
This is what I'm saying to you.
Okay,
So he may be correct on that.
Okay.
I might have to allow that, but I don't know. I need a Jew
Okay,
to tell me
okay,
that.
that's fine.
And
So-
whether or not in this case, because of the urgency of the case, whether or not, I don't know. But carry on. This is Jesus supposed to be God, isn't it? I'm sure they might make an exception. But anyway, continue. I'll allow it for now.
Okay. So then that means that there would have been 3 days that he would have been in the earth and 3 nights that he would have been in the earth. And so I don't see what the issue is there with the counting.
Jesus said Jonah wore 3 days, 3 nights. in
Doesn't
the
make
belly of
any
the
difference.
whale.
No.
So the Son of
Doesn't
Man-
make any difference.
Relax, relax.
If I say I'll see you
It's a good
in
point you
3
made.
days time,
It's a good point you've made.
I'm including night and days.
It's debatable, but
So the Quran doesn't say reject the literature.
see, the question is this: if using this kind of thing, the Jews don't want the Sabbath. Why are the Pharisees running around like ants on Saturday, on the Sabbath, saying to run into Pilate? Oh, he said he's going to be raised and all this business. They're not exactly not working.
But then, you wouldn't really say that's a work. Huh?
Well, that's where the
Yeah,
where we
I mean, I'm not an
apparently
expert.
they're not allowed to switch a light on.
I'm not an expert on it, so I don't know.
I'm not either.
There's someone, I don't know if he'll be interested.
No, but at least we can find out.
Or we-
Is there a
yeah.
Jew? Is there a Jew?
There is. See one over there, but I don't know.
Go grab the Jew. I better not, he might get worried. Yeah. Yeah, there's one there. Just do me a favour.
Can someone just?
Give me some clarification on the Jewish thing.
Generally speaking, it means information. It means information. It means news. It means
Bible is explaining better than Jew.
It means,
So
no,
understand
it
Bible
means speech.
and its
We're
language.
trying to understand Jewish thought.
Let's be peaceful. Yeah, let's be peaceful.
We're trying to look through a Jewish lens, not a Greek lens.
Okay, or a story.
Understand Jesus' lens.
Okay, so when Allah
Sorry,
says,
Josh.
what hadith will you accept after this? Allah is talking about news.
My friend,
The meaning
he
is
Jesus walked on this earth.
not-
general.
He never
That's all
turned
right.
his face
Should we
calling
come back
someone
in?
named Jesus. You do know that?
Huh?
You say you only
When
come once
Jesus
a
walked
month.
on this earth,
Okay.
he never turned his face.
What do you say? What do you say?
What do you say?
Because that's his not name. So you take it.
What was his name?
His name is Esau. Esau in
Just ask them, can they bury their dead on the Sabbath?
Sorry, man.
Jesus, the messenger. Now let Hamza speak. If you interfere, then I have to talk to you because I want to listen.
Yeah, you can talk to me.
Jesus, James, John, Yahweh, they put the J.
Yeah.
It's called J walking. You put J everywhere, wherever you want, just to sound like a white man name.
Okay.
So get that right.
Thank God he wasn't an Arabic man.
I know he wasn't a
Yeah,
white man as well.
Yeah.
He wasn't a
Should we
princess.
type it in? I don't know if that's reliable. But
What's that?
I don't know. Maybe I can type it in.
What
I
did
don't
he
know.
say?
If,
Prophecy or false
oh, he's. I don't think
So
he's
Hamza is
interested.
trying to prove that there's a misunderstanding because Hamza
What are we searching? Do
Can Jews?
it's a lie.
Bury,
We're trying to say
that's
that
Jews bury or
can they bury their
the
dead?
days of
Bury
the
the
Jewish
dead on
calendar was
the
different.
All right.
No.
I'm going to allow
We're
it.
trying to emphasise that the Sabbath, that we don't do
2 days,
no
2
work
nights.
on the Sabbath. And
Why
therefore,
is it 2 days?
These
What is an
days,
extra
3
day
nights
now?
and 2 days actually makes sense.
Okay.
It's not a
So,
fabrication or a
okay, so
lie
we have
or false
Friday?
prophecy. We're coming from that
I'll give you
defense.
Friday.
Okay, so we have Friday. We have
coming, it's coming.
Saturday.
No.
1 second.
Did Jesus said calculate the hours?
no, he said
Did
Jonah.
he said calculate the hour because I'm going to be in the valley of the earth in certain hours? Did he?
So
Did he?
we can speak out.
Yeah. Did he say
Yeah, but he said
number of hours?
3
No,
days,
he said 3 days and 3 nights. Yeah.
I don't know who buried it. All I'm saying is, today, a Jew could not bury, they do not do funerals on the Sabbath.
Right.
So,
you're not helping us.
sorry?
That makes sense.
So, Yeah, so we have Friday, we have Saturday, and we have Sunday. I don't see how that's not 3.
No.
Yeah.
What do we say about days and nights?
Yeah.
See, if you're using Jewish terminology, Friday, yeah? Okay. One evening, Sabbath evening, when you're in Sabbath. So let me just imagine this now. So I'll just use my Tarawih fasting. All right.
It's fine.
So all it would be is that if it was before sunset, then I would still be fasting. So I do 1 day fasting, still on that Friday. Saturday I would do the fasting. I pray Tarawih, same thing, Friday night. It's only 2 nights, 2 days. It only gives you an extra day. It doesn't give you 3 days.
Okay, so...
Using Jewish terminology.
Okay.
Using English terminology, Friday night.
Okay, we're not using...
Saturday.
I mean, but we can't, yeah. We can't. So, Friday, okay.
It only gives you an extra day. All you've added is that day before the Sabbath. So instead of being 1 day, 2 nights, now I'll give you 2 days, 2 nights. No problem.
Okay, just go in my head. So, if we have the day starting Thursday to Friday, okay, so Friday starts...
So I'll give you that day. I'll give you that day now.
So we have that. So Thursday to Friday, we have Friday to Saturday, and then we have
Saturday to Sunday.
Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah.
No, because
And so that would have included, because Sunday would have started on what?
got to be 3 nights. Where's the 3 nights?
But when would that happen?
Show me the 3 nights.
When would that happen?
Well, show me the 3 nights.
1 second. So, are we talking? You were talking about the days. You said added days. Okay. So, do we have 3 days established? Is that fine?
No, you got 2 days.
How do we have 2 days?
Okay.
So I just counted it for you. We don't have 2 days.
You do have 2 days.
How?
No.
Okay.
Friday.
The day before the Sabbath, preparation day.
Friday.
It's preparation day.
Friday.
Yes, preparation day. Okay. So if Jesus was put in the tomb on preparation day,
Yeah.
you've got that day.
So Friday, yep.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay. And then you've got Friday night.
Yes.
Okay. Then you've got...
Wait, can we do the days first, just so we don't have the night?
Friday.
I'm doing both at the same time.
Okay, fine.
Because Friday, preparation day, I've given you preparation day if he was put in the tomb before sunset. The evidence seems to point towards the fact that it looks like he was. Right? So I'll give you that. So I'm giving you preparation day as your day.
Yep.
Then I'm giving you Friday night. Yeah? Then don't forget, from sunset to sunset is a day. So I'm giving you Saturday. Yeah?
No,
I'm giving you Saturday.
You are not counting Friday
Right.
sunset to
1 second.
sunset,
Right.
and you are counting here
Okay.
sunset to
Right?
sunset.
Now I'll give you Saturday. Then I'm giving
Here
you
is another
Saturday night.
Way of
Right?
cheating. Yeah.
Right? Then it's Saturday night. But that's until you get to the next thing, it's not another day.
Why is it not another day? I don't see.
You've got Friday night.
So we have Friday. No, so let's just do days first. Okay, so we have Friday.
Yeah.
Yes. We have Saturday and we have Sunday. Okay. So we have sunset to sundown today. Yes or no?
Let me just think of the maths. If you go to
I see there's more trouble with the nights, and I'll give you that. But with the days, I see it's clear that there's days.
The other thing we have
The
to
nights
question,
I can-
the other part we have to question, does half an hour constitute a day? Which I'm allowing you for some reason. Does half an hour really constitute a day?
I mean, if they're being legalistic with the upholding the law, then it might. But I mean,
Well, if I had to fast a whole day and I fasted an hour, I
okay,
would have fasted the whole day.
But I mean,
I'm just giving you an example. If you have to keep the Sabbath for the whole day and you kept the Sabbath for an hour, you've not kept the Sabbath, have you? So this idea, I mean, I've allowed you a lot of stretch here.
but the evidence leads to that, wouldn't it?
No, it doesn't. Of course
Well,
it doesn't.
the person we just spoke to said that they can't bury their dead on the Sabbath, so it wouldn't have been on a Saturday.
No,
that they buried.
that's fine.
Okay,
But-
Joseph of Arimathea was a Jew who buried Jesus.
All right, so
so
if
the
you bury-
evidence leads. You're not giving me anything. The
I'll tell you
evidence
what-
leading is in that direction.
No,
So,
it leads
yes.
in that direction. But what I'm saying to you is this: does half an hour at the end of a day constitute the whole day? I'm allowing you that.
Okay, but I mean, you're allowing me it, but I am not an expert, okay, and neither are you. So
Yeah.
like, we maybe
Well,
have
I'm
to come.
pretty sure
One
if
second.
a Jew couldn't keep the Sabbath, they didn't keep the whole day.
But we don't know if they would have kept that. That day could have stretched to the last minute, even if it's half an hour. That can still count as falling on that day. So I mean, I'm not an expert on it, so I don't want
That's
to.
why I said it's a stretch. But go on.
Okay.
So you're saying that day,
Friday,
And then the Sabbath comes.
Saturday, yeah.
So you got Sabbath night.
Sunday,
No,
3
no,
days.
no. You got the first night, the night of Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sunday is going to
no,
have
no.
a night as well. Yeah.
He was gone before sunrise.
Yeah.
How can you have a night?
3 days and 3 nights.
He was not there on the tomb.
Then you have a day post of Sabbath.
Came on night.
So the nights are. We know the nights are clear, isn't it? Friday, Saturday. It's the days. Friday, Saturday.
Include Sunday.
If it's sunset to sunset, yeah, possibly.
So 3 days.
I'll give you okay.
If somebody
3 days.
says, I will see you on in 3 days' time, he is including night and days as well.
All right.
Yeah, but Jonah
So-
said 3
so
days, 3
He is including
Hamza doesn't want to explain
he is
to you. I can
including
explain to you.
nights and days.
There's only 2 nights. Anyway.
So when he says, I'll see you in 3 days' time, that does not mean that if they see each other on the first hour of the day, or whether it's the last hour of the day. The day is included.
You're going to have to stop
The
interrupting.
day is included.
Jonah was 3
Anyway.
3 nights.
So it is so clear why Jews they understood, but the Muslims
So the one thing
they don't
So the one
understand.
thing, the Jews completely deny the
Yeah,
whole
they
thing.
understood. They understood very well. And Muslims they don't understand.
With 3 days and 3 nights.
Let's not go to that level, yeah?
Yeah, so Hamza's saying that.
Getting fed up with you, uncle.
Let's not go to that level, yeah?
I literally am going to stand here.
3 days and nights in the
I'm going to have to now. I'm going to have to. Honestly. Unless you behave yourself.
Yeah, because you are always scared of. You are always scared of.
I'm scared of madmen in the park.
Questions. You are scared of questions.
Right, anyway,
So the Friday day.
that's
will
good what
start
you've said.
the-
So at a stretch, no, I will have to verify whether half an hour can constitute a day. I keep getting told that in Jewish things, half a day, an hour equals a whole day. I'm not sure I buy that. But anyway, for argument's sake, you got
Why you are bringing this point?
no, but does it?
So even if
You are not expert.
So it wouldn't say that. You'll be there the whole
just
day.
before it.
But what is it? What is a day? 24 hours?
No, but it can be included in that.
No.
So if I perform an event yesterday and it can only be on the last hour of the day, I still performed it
Yeah.
yesterday.
Like I said, I think that's a stretch. But I'll allow it. Yeah, just move back this way. It's not mine. Especially these content over everything crowd.
Oh,
Yeah, get closer and closer.
We're pro answer.
My brother, I'm not against anybody. I promise you. Okay.
Yeah,
So we've stretched it to 3 days and 2 nights. Yeah. It's not 3 days and 3 nights.
We'll come back to you on that one. Though.
yeah, so
That's the first point.
The argument is so clear that he don't know this thing, and you also don't know how to calculate, and he don't know how to calculate. Therefore, he is not supposed to be bringing this point if he don't know how to calculate.
should we come back? It's good. No, it's good to speak. No, we got to speak later because I mean, if you're going to be interrupting all the time, we can't have a conversation.
But I'm
No, but then you're going against it. It's not very nice. So let's just.
against anybody.
Yeah, but be neutral. So
But
I'm saying that it's a lot of attack.
against
Can I just
his
remain
argument.
silent?
I'm against his
Okay, can I just
argument.
remain silent?
Because
Can I just remain silent? Would you like me to debate you after I finish with Josh?
Yeah, that's better.
Right, well, shut up then.
That's
And I promise you I'll debate you.
Yes. Right. That's good.
and let me ask.
Ask what you like. You can ask what you like.
That's
I
fair.
like that, sir.
But if you utter another word, I'm not doing it, alright? It's up to you. For the camera, I will give this geezer a
You have
chance.
rules down
if
here
he utters
now.
one more word in my ear, I'm not going to. I'm going to give him the Godwin treatment, okay? Don't debate the mad, alright? So if you behave yourself, I'll debate you. If you don't behave yourself, I won't.
You will run away, I know.
There endeth. There you go, hear it straight away. Alright.
Come on, guys.
So, alright, we're giving them 3 days and 2 nights. Still not 3 days and 3 nights. Prophecy is very important.
Okay, I would say on that point, I didn't come back to you because I don't.
Fantastic.
I don't know on that point.
All right.
Yeah.
So, for me, still, Matthew's got it wrong, but has he got it wrong? Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so it's a bit open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did the disciples know this? Because if Jesus is saying this to the Pharisees, were the disciples there when he said it? Were they aware of this resurrection? No, were they? It's a question.
Were they aware that Jesus will resurrect from the dead? What,
After 3 days.
after 3 days? I assume so, yes.
Okay. Well, we know not. Because,
Well, can you show me?
yeah, of course I can. Of course I can. Right. We know from
Why did they
the...
ran to the tomb?
Go on, Hamza. Go.
It's fine, it's
We
fine.
know from the Gospels
Yeah. Okay, yep.
that when the women, after seeing the tomb was empty, went to the disciples, they didn't even... they called the women crazy. Yeah. And even when they themselves went to the tomb and seen it was empty, they just went home. There was no proclamation, oh, he has risen. They weren't waiting for it. It wasn't an expected event. Yeah? It was as if they didn't even know it was supposed to happen. So this now casts doubt on, did Jesus really say these words? Because the actions of the disciples doesn't seem in accordance with a prophecy of Jesus. That's the other thing. Right.
Okay.
Would you
Can I
respond to
stop
that?
point? Yeah. Well, maybe what I will put as an explanation. Do you want a verse? Or?
Yeah, so I don't agree with Hamza with that, because in the book of Matthew, chapter 28, verse...
I think Matthew is the wrong book to be quoted from.
So your claim was that the women
Matthew can't be relied upon.
So and your second point was that in Matthew, the women were only at the tomb, and they didn't say to the
Read the
disciples.
Gospel of John.
Well, we're not going to the Gospel of John yet. We'll go there later, but we'll stick with Matthew.
Okay, first thing. Understand one thing. The whole point of reading Matthew is we're questioning whether Matthew's telling the truth or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but let Matthew.
Okay. So how will we know if Matthew's telling the truth? Well, what we would do, we look at all the other gospel writers, and we'll see what they say about the same event.
But in the book of Matthew, the women went to the disciples in the book of Matthew. It mentions that, and it mentions that in the book of John as well.
Okay. If you read in the Gospel of John, the women went to the disciples.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the disciples didn't believe her. Then Peter and John raced to the tomb.
Yes.
They entered the tomb and then went home.
Yes.
Right, no proclamation he has risen. Not acting like he's fulfilled his prophecy.
But
They didn't even know what was going on.
But you are when Christ revealed himself to them as well.
Whoa, stop. If you're with a man and you've left your fishing nets to follow this man, and you've watched him heal the sick and cure the blind and raise the dead, and he says to you, in 3 days I'll rise again, what are you waiting for?
So
What are you waiting for in 3 days?
For his resurrection.
Right. And when someone comes to you after 3 days and say he's risen, what should be your reaction?
So have you also read what it says they fully did not understand?
What should be your reaction?
One of amazement and shock.
All right. Or it should be, wow, he said he was going to do that.
Yeah.
But he
And
didn't.
as you let the revelation of God reveal itself as in order, we see that happen. We see Christ revealing himself to the disciples. We see him explain.
No.
Let me finish my point, Hamza. Can I let you come back? We see God, Christ, explaining himself to the disciples why he had to, why he rose from the dead, and why.
No. Look.
What is your point? Make your point. What is your
My
point?
point is very clear. If Jesus had made this prophecy to his disciples that he was going to rise from the dead after 3 days and 3 nights, yeah, the disciples of Jesus would be waiting for him to rise.
Yes, but they didn't fully understand this truth.
They didn't
and Christ
understand.
explained fully when he rose from the dead.
So when Jesus said, "I'm going to rise after 3 days," they didn't believe he was going to rise after
It's
3
not
days.
that they didn't believe; they didn't fully understand.
Right,
about
and then
this.
when the women came to him and said, "He's risen," they still didn't understand.
In the first century, the women they weren't considered in equal status as men. So when
So the women weren't believed.
no, the women
the way it's
believed, but I'm saying that they weren't considered as equal status in the first century.
Right. See,
What I'm trying to say is, in the book of John, the men went to the tomb and saw
When did they go to the tomb?
after the women came to him.
And how did they react when they went to the tomb?
Let's read it.
I don't need to. I know it.
Yeah, but
How do you believe they reacted?
I want to read from the text.
Did they react like men waiting for a prophecy to be
I'm
fulfilled?
gonna read from the
Or did they
text.
act like men that didn't have a clue what
Yeah,
was
but
going
the thing
on?
is, I think the problem with what you're trying to say is that you're not allowing the whole of Scripture to speak for itself.
No, what I'm saying is
Can I
this.
finish my point?
That's the problem.
The issue, you have a point, and I accept your point, but you need to let the whole of Scripture speak for itself. If you want to be fair, you must see how did Jesus Christ reveal himself to the disciples after he rose from the dead. So when you read the rest of the book of John, it's very clear Christ, he revealed himself to the disciples, he commissioned Peter. There's so much revelation revealed after the resurrection of Christ. Thomas, touch my hands. Feel my side. That the proof,
So my point here is
the
this.
proof of his
My
resurrection.
point here is this. This is a man you've watched do miracles.
Yes.
This is the man who you believe is God and worshipped.
Amen.
Yeah?
Yes.
Amen.
And yet, when he fulfills a prophecy he said he was going to do, you don't know what the hell's going on.
They didn't fully understand.
Okay, they didn't fully.
Yeah.
How
So what's
did
the
it-
point?
Okay, the point here is this. The point here is this. Either the disciples didn't believe Jesus when he said he was going to rise in 3 days, or didn't understand him, as you claim, yeah? Or Jesus never made that
fully
claim.
understand how it rises from the dead.
Or Jesus never made that claim.
No, I disagree with your what you're trying to say here, because I didn't say believe. I said they didn't understand fully what was going to happen, how Jesus Christ would rise from the dead. They didn't understand fully.
Okay.
And we see.
And why does it say that? What does it say after that? Because they did not yet know the scripture, yeah?
And then Christ.
Which scripture?
And Christ.
Which scripture?
The Old Testament, God revealed Himself to them.
Where in the Old Testament does it say Jesus is going to rise after 3 days?
Let's stick to the first point.
Well, let's stick to that point, because
No,
the disciples of Jesus, no.
We're jumping
because
points now.
No, the point is the same. You said they didn't know, and the reason they don't know is
I
explained
didn't,
in
say
the
they,
gospel.
I didn't say they didn't know.
Yes, you did.
I said they
They
didn't
didn't
fully
understand.
understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because why? It says in the Gospel of John also, because they hadn't yet read Scripture.
Where's it say that? Prove it to
Read
me.
it.
Can you show it to me, please?
Read it.
Can you show me.
Read it.
I want you to show it to me. Come on. In my Bible, please.
KJV. I don't know what.
NKJV. And I rely on this translation. Maybe another time
There's
we can.
so many
we can have.
fabrications in
I
this.
disagree with that. I disagree with that. We can have another debate about textual criticism about this, but not that now. So show me where that he says what you just said. Sorry.
I don't know what you've added here. This is.
I disagree with that point, but just for sake of argument, show me in the
Which
scriptures. please.
contains verses are not in there? How do I know what's
I disagree
true?
with that point.
But it does.
So that's another question. We
No,
can
no, no.
answer.
What I'm saying is, there's a verse I could read now that might not be there.
I disagree with that argument.
Fine, we can
That's
just
another
check it.
about
one
textual
point.
criticism.
Stick to
Why I
one
know this is a
point.
reliable
Yeah, stick
Bible.
to one
That's
point.
another week we can discuss that.
No, no, no.
Yeah?
But you can tell.
But stick to your point.
So you're saying to me, you can tell me why the verse is there and not here. Yeah.
In a
All right.
different setting. Let's focus on our topic right now.
No, I will do. I will do.
Because I think you need to let the whole of Scripture speak for itself. Let the Bible speak for itself.
Look,
Not pick one verse and then isolate that, blah, blah,
I think
blah.
you've missed the whole point of this conversation.
I don't
To be
think
honest,
I
I'll tell you
have.
why. Because today I'm cracking open the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay.
That's my whole agenda.
I want you to stay there, actually.
All right, and I haven't
When you
finished.
jump to John.
Right. No. Once I've cracked open Matthew,
Yes.
Luke is next. All right. And I will get to John.
Shall we stick with Matthew then?
No. I'm saying today.
Okay.
My point of coming here today
Yes.
is to crack open the Gospel of Matthew.
Okay.
So I'm focused on Matthew.
So why are we going to John then?
No. Because you believe this, isn't it? You just made a claim.
I do believe that, but let's stick in Matthew
No,
then.
but the problem
I can,
is,
I can prove
but
from Matthew.
I believe Matthew's a liar. Why are you going to quote from it?
But you're saying that claim.
Yes.
You're making that claim.
Right. If I believe
Hamza,
Matthew's a liar,
So I'm saying, no, you're wrong. This is why you're wrong. In the book of Matthew, the women went to the disciples and witnessed and told them what happened.
okay. Right.
Hamza, your starting position.
You went to John.
One
Sorry.
second.
No.
But your starting position is you're presupposing.
I'm saying
now,
Matthew's lying.
Yeah. Exactly.
disagree with
So,
that.
One second.
That's the whole point.
Your assumption is
he went
that
to
you are.
It's an assumption now.
1 second.
When did it become an assumption?
You are. You're
That was an
trying.
hypothesis.
You're trying to
It was an
demonstrate.
hypothesis, wasn't it?
You're trying to demonstrate that Matthew is unreliable or is a liar. Yes.
Yes.
So then, why are you then assuming first that he's a liar and saying I'm not going to go and read Matthew? So it's a circular argument.
No.
It's a circular argument. So your starting point has to be, okay, it's neutral, I don't know yet. Let's go and look at Matthew. Let's go and
Stick with Matthew, come on.
exegete the
Remember what I
passage.
said to you earlier?
Yes.
This is not the first thing of Matthew that I'm going to crack open.
Yes.
Okay, this is the first one. Sorry, it's not the only one. Because of the other ones, I know there's no way out of. Okay, this is I know the 3-day, 3-night stretch. I know that. Yeah. But there's other things that completely.
Exactly.
Right.
But
Your second point-
1 second. But let's stick with Matthew.
Yeah.
Because you were saying, well, Matthew's a liar and all these sort of things. But then let's first establish that he's a liar, and then we won't quote from him and look at him. So we don't need to go to any other verses first.
No, but the
let's first look at Matthew.
No.
Because your starting position has to be neutral
No.
when you're doing this analysis.
What did I
We're not
say?
addressing that issue.
Your starting position has to be neutral,
Okay.
unless you're going to go into a circular argument.
Unfortunately, Zach jumped in here. He said this thing about the disciples did know. Yeah.
So I'm trying to say, in order of how Matthew explained how the women went to the disciples, they told the disciples what happened after the resurrection. You told me to go to John. I said, no, let's stick with Matthew. Then we went to John. I wanted to stay with Matthew.
Why did I go to John?
I don't know why you went to John.
I'll tell you why. Because it was more evidence from your scripture, right, that proves Matthew that the disciples were not aware of a 3-day, 3-night thing.
But number one, even if you're doing...
Gospel of John is my first
Even
witness.
Matthew are right
Well,
person.
wouldn't you start first and read Matthew before you go. No, because John, number one, is a later text. And so wouldn't you first start with the earlier text? Why are you going to the later text and saying, well, actually, no,
We
the
believe
later
that
text
text,
says
though.
that?
We believe that text.
So I'm saying if you're doing historical analysis, let's first look at the
I'll
earlier
go,
text.
to, I'll go to the earlier text.
So the early. So
What's the earliest text?
So 1 second.
What's the earliest text?
Mark.
Right. And
Yes.
what happens with the women at the tomb?
What do you mean?
What
We
do
don't
they do?
have the ending.
Well, what happens then?
We don't have the ending.
So what
we
do
have.
they do?
We have. There's an empty
So they
tomb.
flee and speak to no one?
But there's an empty tomb.
But they flee and speak to no one.
Yes.
So they didn't go to the disciples.
Listen, you can't make. 1 second. You can't draw that conclusion because we don't have the full ending. So you're drawing a conclusion on nothing. All we have is there is an empty tomb.
You're
So
facing,
that's an
you're
empty. We have an
facing the
empty
gospels
tomb.
against each other, but actually the gospels
So,
are in harmony.
remind me again what the women told the tomb, told the disciples after going to the tomb and finding it empty in the Gospel of Mark.
Well, you're going to show us, aren't you?
No, you tell me what they did.
Let me read it to you.
Well, no, not from this book.
I'll read from the Bible.
Do you want ESV?
Yeah,
We can go ESV.
ESV's okay.
So
One second.
I disagree with how you're treating my scriptures, but another point we'll come back on textual criticism and discuss this.
Basically, what he is saying, he think he is right all the time. Not the word of God is right. He is saying he is the right person, and he is considering other writer or
Is there a
other
verse you want to look at, Mark?
wrong people. That's
Hamza,
that's
we've got
not how
ESV if
it
you want.
works.
So what you're looking for, Hamza, I can help you. If you tell me what you're looking for, I can find it for you.
Shall I read Matthew 28:9?
Is that what you want? You don't want Mark?
No,
You're saying you want to Mark?
Well, no, let's see what Matthew says
you want
first.
Oh, you want to go Matthew now?
Matthew 28. What?
9.
But he said that
Let's stick with
Matthew is
then.
wrong.
Let's stick with Matthew then.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, look, what's my principle here is the disciples of Jesus
Yeah.
did not believe that Jesus had risen, right? That was my claim.
They didn't fully
Or they weren't
understand.
ready for it. I don't buy this fully understand. I think you would understand.
Well, that's what you're
Well,
trying
if you
to
believe
say.
this guy was who he claimed to be,
They
you
didn't
claim to
fully
be God.
understand.
But you're not letting the whole of Scripture speak for itself. My issue, the whole point here is that, look, I challenge all my Muslim friends, read the Gospel for yourself.
Yes.
Read it without any kind of
I don't trust the
presuppositions.
authors. I don't trust the authors of
Well,
telling the
I
truth.
do, and I'm
Right, so why
challenging.
should I read it if I don't trust them?
You're coming with a claim, bringing the Scriptures that you supposedly disagree with
Right.
as the Word of God, and I'm saying it is the Word of God.
I don't believe it. Why should I believe it?
Okay.
Why should I believe it's word
Okay,
of God?
but you mentioned
Why should I believe it's the word of God?
So I'll answer your question.
Your Quran is leading you.
So you
Guiding
came,
you.
you came with the claim that this doesn't make sense. This is not true. It's false prophecy.
I didn't say that.
You're trying to discredit the
That
book
wasn't my
of-
claim.
Should we go to Matthew 28:9?
Yeah,
Okay, let's
should we read that
stick with Matthew then.
My claim was this. The author of the Gospel of Matthew is a liar.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to
Okay,
that
we're
point,
trying to
yeah.
establish that, and at the moment, we haven't established that.
No, but we've established this doubt in what he's saying.
No, I mean, we.
Oh, you think
Wait,
it
1
was
second.
3 days and 3 nights?
1 second.
We're going to come back to you on
One
that
second.
point.
Right, so you're not sure?
No, but
right
it's
now?
say-
At the moment,
Right,
yeah.
that's fine.
No, but the same way.
That's the start.
Yeah.
1 sec.
There's more homework for you, don't worry.
Of course. And it's more homework for you as well.
1 second. We both came to a position of saying that we are skeptical of certain things. We don't
Yeah, I agree with
know.
that,
We
okay.
don't know. So
I accept that.
nothing then has been established.
That's good.
Okay,
That's a
so
start.
now let's look at this verse.
Yeah.
Matthew 28:9. Okay, and behold, Jesus met them and said,
No,
"Greeting-"
read from. Trying to understand what it's saying in a minute. It's the first clause of the verse. Just read. He is not here for you. Read from chapter 6.
Okay.
This is which version of the Bible?
ESV.
Where's my NIV anyway?
ESV.
Yes, we.
Just hold that one a second. I just want to see what the NIV have done.
Okay.
And why.
Okay, so he's not here. But he. Where do you want me to read it to? Sorry. Just 6, or do you want me to read the whole?
Read from 6 onwards, isn't it?
Okay. So he's not here, for he has risen now. As he said, come see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he's going he's going before you to Galilee. There you'll see him. See, I've told you. So they departed quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy and ran to tell his disciples. And behold, Jesus met them and said, greetings. And they came up and took hold of his feet and worshipped him.
Right.
Then Jesus
Right,
said,
Stop. I'm trying to understand the context now.
Okay.
Firstly, this is a complete contradiction of Mark. Yeah, because Mark says the women flee afraid and spoke to no one. Now they're filled with joy and they're running to tell his disciples. Complete contradiction. Anyway, I'm not going to do contradictions today. Right. But who is it who appeared? Where it says, suddenly Jesus met them. All right, suddenly Jesus met them. Now what does yours say? 28:9? What does yours say? Matthew
I'm going
28:9.
back to
And behold, Jesus met them and said,
Met them. Who's them?
and behold, Jesus met them and said,
Who's them?
"Who's he?"
Who's them?
And they
Who's
came
them?
up and
Who's
took hold
them?
of his feet. One second, I'm trying to and worship him. And Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." So if I'm looking,
So Hamza, can I say one point about Mark's gospel? It didn't say they didn't tell anybody. It ends on verse 8 in your ESV. It didn't say that. It says, and they said nothing. Oh, it says sorry. Right. I was wrong.
Afraid spoke to no one. Afraid going to tell the disciples.
I can see that.
Good. Reflect on that.
he's not here for you.
Remember, this is the word of God. This is Holy Spirit inspired.
But doesn't mean that they're
Come
going
on, so-
to
so
not
and
say
behold,
anything
Jesus
afterwards.
met them.
to
I
the
think
disciples.
Jesus met the women on.
Yeah, I think it's the women. I think so.
So he's already told them. Oh, so they've seen
Jesus
him.
met them and said,
So the angels already told
yeah,
them.
no, it's the angels and then Jesus. Yes.
And they're running to tell the disciples, and then Jesus stops them and says, "Go." Again,
Greetings, and they came up.
repeats the same thing.
Yeah. So what's the issue?
Okay. So here it doesn't explain whether or not the disciples believed. All we hear is that they went to Galilee. Yeah?
Okay. So
There's no definitive. This is why I went to the Gospel of John, because there's no narrative here of what happened when the women reached the disciples. So if we want to know what happened when the women reached the disciples, we need to know a gospel that narrates that narrative. Now we know the Gospel of Mark doesn't narrate that narrative. Matthew doesn't narrate that narrative. Does Luke narrate that narrative? I'm not sure. Remember one thing about me, Josh, yeah?
Yep.
I'm not here to win. Well, I kind of am, but I don't believe in losing. I believe in
But
learning.
learning, that's the most important.
Yeah.
I believe that's the best. Yeah.
Now I've heard this argument about before the Sabbath, which was not something I contemplated, about Nicodemus burying on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
That's something I need to reflect upon. So if you ever see me repeating this argument, unless I remove this idea of 1 hour equals a day, I'm going to speak to a rabbi about that.
Yes, sir.
You will never hear me repeating
No,
one
no,
day
it's
in
good.
Trinidad,
Yeah.
right? So I've
Thank
learned
you.
that.
Yeah, okay.
Still, my argument stands, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, sorry, so the Gospel of Luke
yeah,
now.
Can I say one thing about the Gospel of Mark, the ending, the longer ending? So I'm a Christian that believes in the longer ending.
Why?
But another time I like to defend how I believe that is the right, the long ending is right. Because in that ending, it does say that the women went to and told the disciples. So I would say that is all.
Yeah, but that could have just been added later. Like
I
it looks like
don't believe that.
Well, according to your
some
manuscripts.
scholars.
Well, according to your manuscript, evidence.
Some manuscripts. and
Well,
some
come on, the oldest manuscript doesn't have that.
So
Some of your manuscripts have the end written. Come on, man. Don't embarrass yourself.
I'm not embarrassing myself at all. That's not called for, man. We're having a discussion.
No, but if you just stand on that, and say I disagree with scholarship.
But you don't. No, I didn't say disagree with scholarship. I look at different scholars to come to.
I know you want to
different
believe it's
conclusion.
true, but then do you believe in the idea of drinking poison and all that? Because that's in Mark.
It says if you drink poison,
Yeah?
if
You'd be all right.
if you come into any contact with that,
And you'd be all right.
you'll be fine.
Do you think that's true?
I do, yeah.
So you think you could drink poison now and still
I'm
be
not
alive?
set, but you're confusing the whole issue.
No,
now.
I'm not.
I'm saying if
That's the claim made.
if
Yeah, if you drink poison now,
if
you
it
wouldn't die.
happens,
You
wouldn't
wouldn't.
protect you.
You truly believe if you drink poison
I'm
now,
not
you
going
wouldn't
to.
die.
I'm not going to go up to some poison and say, look, let me prove a point. That is false.
So if so, you're saying to me, if a rattlesnake bit you, you wouldn't die
what
from
I'm
the
trying
bite.
to say is
no,
this.
No, I'm just asking.
What I'm trying to say is this. I believe in the longer ending of
Right,
Mark.
so if you believe in the longer ending of
but
Mark-
I know, let me finish my point. I know Joshua and Richard might come to a different conclusion.
No, I understand that.
But I'm happy to
you
defend
are.
that with you another time.
I understand that.
Let's stick with the issue
I
here.
understand that.
So what I'm trying
But
to say,
I'm just
so my
telling
point,
you the ramifications.
so my point was this.
If you want to believe in the longer ending of Mark, then you have to believe
So my
you
point
can
was
drink
this.
poison and not die.
My point was this.
Good luck
That
with
in the
that.
longer end of Mark, the women went to the disciples. So there's no issue there for me personally.
Unless it's a fabrication.
I
Unless
don't
it's a
believe
copy
that.
of Matthew.
I don't believe that. It's a fabrication.
Yeah, but what's your belief based on? Why
come
don't
on.
you believe it?
I'll
Are
bring
you
this-
saying there's no verses in the Bible fabricated?
I'll bring the evidence to prove that it's not.
Do you believe the story of the
fabricated.
adulterous woman was
I do.
also?
I do. Personally, I do. Yeah.
You know,
Based on scholarship and what I've read.
Acts 8:37 also?
Yeah, I do.
It was always there.
I do believe that. Yeah.
So when is it missing in the oldest reliable manuscripts?
Let's stick to this. Another time when you're down here, we'll talk about this. You know my face when it's Andrew.
No, today we're here. I'm here today. I'm only once a month. I'm
But
here today.
we'll talk about this issue.
No,
Let's
once we dealt with this issue, I'll deal with that issue.
stick to this issue first.
No, because you know why? You know what I've done recently, Josh? I was speaking to Anna in the car. Usually when I debate Christians on the reliability of the New Testament and the Bible and all that, I go after the manuscripts. I go after Codex Sinaiticus. Oh, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
That's very nice.
I'll give you a paper up the way.
Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
This is tea, isn't it? I'm drinking with my right hand, okay?
Be careful.
Haroon, for you, mate.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh, thank you very much. Very
you.
kind.
Okay.
Very kind.
So what happened? This is my mastermind specialist subject.
Okay.
Okay. This idea of manuscript evidence
Okay,
and all
good.
that. But what I realised is that it might be too academic for your standard Christian.
Okay.
And then what I realised was that, let's say the verses were there from the first century. What does it matter if the author's a liar? Yeah? So this is why I'm where I am today. I've now progressed from attacking your manuscript evidence and attacking the KJV and the NIV, which I can do quite easily. And I've tried to go a bit more nuanced, and I want to actually question the potential authors.
Okay.
This is why we started off, who are the authors?
So with the reliability of the New King James Version, but I'm happy to defend that another time.
Oh,
Not
most
today.
definitely so.
Okay?
Hamza,
That's what I'm
hold that a
saying.
second. Salam alaikum. Wa salam.
What?
Let me just see what Luke says.
Do you mind holding this for 1 second, please?
Sorry if it's getting a bit long, but this is very important
No, it's fine,
today. Probably about 3 parts.
Should we say?
Sorry, yeah. Where
Right,
are we now?
where we are, we're looking at the part.
I disagree.
What happened when the disciples of Jesus, when the women of the tomb
Nine, no,
met the disciples of Jesus, telling him of his resurrection.
Because
All right, that's
are
what
we
I'm looking
also
for.
on that point of you saying, was it true that Jesus, that they understood or believed the
No.
resurrection?
What more? What it is?
Yes.
I want to know. I made a claim that when the women met the disciples and told them Jesus had resurrected, they were acting like they didn't have a clue what was going on. All right. So now we're trying to find proof of that.
Okay.
I went to the Gospel of John, but I was told no, go to the Gospel of Matthew because that's where we're. All right.
Okay.
Matthew doesn't mention this meeting, so we can forget Matthew. Mark doesn't mention this meeting, yeah, because Mark doesn't even have a meeting. All right. So I'm on Luke now. I just want to see whether
Okay,
or
so let's
not
have a look at
what
it.
they did. All right, there you go. Luke has it in it. When they came back from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. But they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. So basically, what these women are explaining to them, that Jesus has risen from the grave, they're saying it's nonsense. Now, that doesn't sound like the words of people who Jesus has prepared for them, saying to them, I'm going to raise in 3 days, 3 nights. Yeah? It doesn't marry up. Okay.
But then if we carry on,
Peter, however,
Yeah.
I know, I said that. Peter and John ran to the tomb. I have no issue with that. Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen lying by themselves. He went away, wondering in himself what had happened. So even he doesn't know what's happened. He's not saying, oh, he's risen. He's done what he said he was going to do. If you read the Gospel of John, it's the same.
Okay.
But rather than just wondering away to himself what happened, they just go home.
but can the ESV says marveling at what happened?
Yeah, wondering to himself what happened.
No, I mean wondering sort of has connotations of I don't know what's going
Marveling.
on. Marveling
Yeah,
doesn't.
it is, it's
doesn't
a marvelous
have-
thing.
No, but marveling doesn't have to have that type of connotation. Like you don't know what's going on.
What does the King
It's
James
just
say?
wondrous.
What does the King James
Okay.
say?
Personally,
no.
okay. Personally,
Tell everyone.
John, what's it?
Sorry, this is Luke 24, 12.
To your point.
Yeah. So marveling doesn't have the
21,
the-
yeah?
Marveling doesn't have
21, 24.
doesn't have to have the connotation of you don't know what's going on. It could be you know what's going on, but it's wondrous. It's wow. You're marveling.
Where's
Yes.
their side?
So it could have that.
What's the Greek word used, do we know?
Should we go? Should we go to?
Yeah, this is
No,
what the Greek
I'm
is.
not. I'm not.
What does Luke
You said 21:12, you said?
24 think?
24, sorry.
Right.
He can take
I think
whatever.
Peter arose and ran to the tomb, and stooping down, he saw the linen clothes laying there by themselves, and he departed, marveling to himself what happened.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But
So Hamza, so your issue is that they didn't know that Christ was raised from the dead.
Okay.
They didn't believe.
my question is, sorry, not my question. My
Condense it for us, so we can answer it. What is the reason you disbelieve that the disciples believed Jesus Christ was
I
raised
think
from the dead?
this is further evidence
Okay.
that they were not waiting for him to rise after 3 days, which puts doubt on what Matthew claimed about the 3 days and 3 nights.
So you don't like my answer when I said that what was fully revealed to them was really made known after Christ's resurrection.
No. To me,
Yeah.
you can say that they didn't.
So you don't accept that?
Can you prove that
Yeah, I can.
that they didn't understand?
I think so. Yeah. From John, I can see that.
Oh, you go to John now.
I can go to Matthew.
Not there, Matthew.
Go to Mark as well.
Mark didn't meet the women after.
But in Mark, we see that the disciples didn't get it. A lot of the times, when
No, but you're quoting from Mark now, which for the majority of Christians is a fabrication at the end of Mark. So it's not going to hold
I'm
the
not
weight.
going to go to the end.
Well,
of
you
the
are.
Bible.
You have to.
No, I'm going to talk about did the disciples know? Did they fully understand? That's my argument.
Go to the sign of Jonah. It's not there. It's only in Luke and Matthew.
So, Hamza, I'm going to show from the book of Mark that the disciples didn't fully understand the totality of why did Christ have to rise from the dead. Because look, John said, one of the disciples said, let me stop this from happening. And Jesus said to him, get thee behind me, Satan, to Peter. Because Peter was trying to stop Jesus Christ from dying on the cross. He didn't fully understand.
Yeah, Matthew's in doubt, mate.
Well, we've already said on the first point that it's not been established